Hi, and welcome to another one of my classic licks blues guitar videos. Today we're going to look at the playing of Guitar Slim, one of the most famous and influential electric blues guitar players from the 1950s. Slim used a capo on most of his recordings, not all of them, but it sounds like on pretty much most of them. A lot of his tunes were in the key of F, so I'm going to show you all the examples today on using the key of F with a capo on the first fret. Now he also played in other keys, G, A flat, B flat, and he used a capo in those keys. He also played some tunes in C and D, and those it doesn't sound like he used a capo. But today I'm going to focus on the stuff with the capo. I'm going to start out showing you some of his signature single string runs that he used as fills and also as parts of his solos. A couple tunes that come to mind right off the bat. Number one is his most famous tune, The Things I Used to Do. And I'm going to demonstrate his style starting out by showing you some licks from that tune. Now he's playing in the key of F, so with the capo at the first fret I make an E shape. I use two fingers here. You can use three, but I think two is easier, especially with the capo in the way. And his single string runs are just really following that E chord and the basic blues scale, blues box. So let me show you one example of a fill from that tune. Single string run. So something like this. And all I'm doing, starting it off this time by hammering on the first fret of the third string. And you'll notice a lot of open strings in his playing, and that's because, again, he's playing in that first position, the E position, which is why he uses the capo, so he can play the same basic style in any key. He doesn't have to adjust any different shapes or anything like that. So, open second string, second fret of the second string, open first string. And then he's going to slide down to the fourth fret. He actually goes to the second fret and then slides right away to the fourth fret. He's going to slide back down and go back and forth between the open first string, second fret, open, second string, second fret, and then back to the open first string. So the whole lick. You might throw in something like that. Whoops. And I'm just hammering on the second fret of the second string. Open first string. Second fret of the second string. Open second string. And throughout the tune, The Things I Used to Do, he's basically just doing different variations using those same few notes. Or something like this. You might change it up that way. Now leading into that, I showed you first using the third string, hammering on. But he can also lead into that a couple different ways. One way that I've heard him use on other tunes is just the open second string. So it's open second string to the second fret of the second string. You'll hear him use those couple positions all the time. Second fret of the first and second string. And he'll do all sorts of different variations on that. Something like this. And I'm just bouncing. Anyway, getting back to how do I lead into that lick, also you could start on the fourth string, which is the F note, the root note. So I could start here. That's just the second fret of the fourth string. That's really it. Now, in some of his other tunes, and in that same tune, he'll do a lot of variations on that same thing. He might use a lick like this. So gets ready to go from the 5 and then into the 1 for the next verse. So something like this. Into the 5 and then getting ready to start the first verse. So if you listen to his songs like Something to Remember You By and Things I Used to Do, you'll hear him using those licks primarily as fills between his vocal lines, but also as part of his solos. Now before we go any further, I want to show you some double stops that he uses along with those single string runs. And there's 3 that I've identified, 2 that he uses a lot, and then 1 you hear in one particular tune, but it's really neat, so I'll show it to you. First one is a double stop on the 2nd string and the open 1st string with the finger on the 5th fret, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, since we're using the capo. We've heard this before in the playing of Johnny Guitar Watson. And what I'm doing is just sliding my 2nd finger from the 4th to the 5th fret and then hitting an open 1st string. Now Guitar Slim, well, I'll show you one example of how he uses this. Instead of hammering on it, Johnny Guitar Watson, he kind of slams it really loud and hard. Guitar Slim does more of a picking. And there's one tune called Guitar Slim, which is a kind of a self-promoting rant about himself. It's a great tune. He does something like this as a fill lick. And so what I'm doing is I'm picking, I'm sliding to the 2nd string, then 1st string, 2nd string, 1st string, I'm just playing it a lot faster. And then down here I can do this with 2 fingers, like my ring finger and my 2nd finger. I'm going from the 3rd to the 2nd fret to open on the 1st string. Or I can play it with just 1 finger and slide it and pull it off. Get a similar sound, it's up to you. And then he's just playing the melody in that position on the 2nd fret. Whoops. And that's just one example of how he uses that lick, but that's a lick that you'll hear in his playing. Another double stop lick, this time on the 2nd and 3rd strings. And he uses this often along with his single string runs. There's a tune called Something to Remember You By, and he plays this. So this time I'm sliding from the 3rd to the 4th string, 3rd to the 4th fret on the 3rd string, and I've got an open 2nd string. So the whole lick from Something to Remember You By. Now you can wrap that up a couple different ways. I've been listening to his recordings and trying to hear exactly what he's doing. It's kind of hard sometimes. It sounds like sometimes he's just going, and then the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, 2nd fret of the 4th string. Or he's just using an open 3rd string. Oops. That's an open 3rd string, winding up on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. So the whole lick together one more time. Whoops. Something like that. And there's that. You'll hear him use that quite a bit. Like that. That's another Guitar Slim idea. Just a sec. Trying to get over a cold. Another one that you hear in a tune called Trouble Don't Last. It's just kind of a neat idea. It's very simple. And with his extreme volume, this lick really sounds powerful. He does it in B flat. I'm not going to move my capo because I don't want to have to retune everything. So if I'm playing in the key of F, there's a tune called Things I Used to Do. The first part of the solo, he does something like this. Now in Trouble Don't Last, he just doubles everything up. He doesn't do the slide, he just keeps it there. Whoops, kind of botched that chord, sorry. Does a whole solo just combining that double stop and a 7th chord. It's kind of neat. So you can just take your first finger, second finger, whatever, and bounce back and forth. You're fretting both the first and second strings at the 2nd fret, and then open. So if you were playing a tune like Things I Used to Do, you could actually combine that. Instead of playing the single note, if you want to get a little more oomph into it, you can go. However, but I just find that to be a cool guitar slim like that. Double stop, click.